Hello and welcome. You're watching The Big Fight, a show that is young at 23, the oldest running debate show on Indian news television. I'm Sanket Upadhyay. You must be wondering, why do we have the word Baazigar written on the screen? You see, 30 years ago, there was this very famous movie and it had a very famous dialogue. हार के जीतने वाले को बाजीगर कहते हैं. That means if you lose and yet you win, you are a Baazigar. So why in this political context? Let's take a look at the trust vote, the no confidence motion which the opposition has moved against the Modi government. When you look at numbers, it is very clear in the Lok Sabha, the 330 plus NDA, Narendra Modi's government, is very, very comfortable as far as winning any form of trust vote. So why did the opposition do this? Is their strategy to just get the Prime Minister on the floor of the House and answer questions on Manipur, a demand that they've been making regularly and a demand which the government feels need not be fulfilled? They would much rather the Home Minister comment on Manipur. So technically, the opposition will lose, but they may end up winning in getting the Prime Minister on the floor of the House. And if this is a battle of narratives, then will this Baazigar moment necessarily help the opposition, or in this case, the India alliance? That is going to be the big discussion on The Big Fight. Let me introduce our guests one by one in the studio. Mr. R.P. Singh, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Thank you very much for joining us. Charan Singh Sapra, Spokesperson of the Congress Party. We also have Professor Geeta Bhatt, Political Analyst. Thank you very much for joining us. Researcher, author and columnist Manisha Priyam is also with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. T.R. Ramachandran, Senior Journalist. Thank you very much for joining us in the studio. And we also have Vijeta Singh from The Hindu. Thank you for joining us. In just a short moment, we'll also have Mr. Sajjan Kumar, as a political analyst, with his views. Let's begin the big fight with what we call is the first punch. Sardar R.P. Singh, we'll begin with you. Do you feel that this is a Baazigar moment?
Before you start with me, why don't you ask people whom you're making win the narrative? So let them start, the people who want to win.
Should I make Mr. Sapra begin?
Because you have already stated that he is winning.
No, I'm saying, could this be a Baazigar moment? It's a question.
It's recorded now. You said that they are winning, so let's start with them. We'll answer.
Who said they're winning? I never said. I said, in any case, the BJP has the numbers and the NDA has the numbers, so they will end up winning. But could this be a case where they may lose the trust vote, yet win or attempt to win a narrative battle and thus become the Baazigar?
No, you added the word attempt.
Oh, come on. Nitpicking are you? Okay, Mr.
Not
Sapra.
Nitpicking. I'm
Mr. Sapra,
precise.
opening comments.
See, the issue is when the morality of the ruling party is looking to be going low, when the ruling party is turning a blind eye towards a grave issue in the country. More than 160 people are killed, more than 50,000 people are displaced, and not only the opposition leaders, it is the leaders of the ruling party, it is the central minister whose house is attacked, it is the state minister whose house is attacked, and the BJP MLAs are saying that this is a state-sponsored arson going on over there. So when such situation is there, still the government doesn't want to answer on that. Still the Prime Minister wants to dodge the issue. He wants to speak only for 36 seconds outside the parliament, or he goes in Rajasthan and he speaks, or he speaks in front of the BJP parliamentary body. But he doesn't want to speak inside the parliament. He doesn't want to face difficult questions which the opposition wants to ask. So what is the option left with the opposition?
Okay.
We have to take this narrative. We have to take an option which is there in the parliamentary
The question is whether this will necessarily work for you. Because if he does come to the parliament, if he does speak, apart from this big win that you may present, that we got the Prime Minister to speak, what do you do beyond that? Can you take this narrative to the street and necessarily swing this in your favor? That is going to be an important question. I'll come back to you, Mr. R.P. Singh.
Well, I'm sorry to say that you built up a wrong narrative, but Prime Minister is not prepared to speak in the Parliament. PM has always spoken in the Parliament and addressed each and every issue of the concern in the Parliament. And even now, there was never that PM is not going to speak. It was never stated that way. It was only that HM said that yes, I am prepared to answer, give you all your answers, and during the course of discussion, if need be, I mean, he didn't say that, but had it been, then the Prime Minister would have also intervened and answered the questions or taken the questions. But issue is, what is the subject? Subject is that they want to do disruption. And then it's not that they are doing it for Manipur. I mean, let me recall you, 2012, more than 100 people died in Bodo clashes in Assam, and more than 4 lakh were displaced. So, was there any ruckus in the parliament? No, everyone stood and said that we all are with the Assam, and then let there be a joint statement, and that's how it goes, not versus. So the objective of the opposition is to create some sort of build up some sort of narrative, and that's not the first time it's happening. There have been more than 30 such occasions in the history of the parliament.
Okay. And I'm going to come back to you.
Another 5 seconds. So and it's not, it doesn't work, because the number game, and then we all know the number game is with the NDA, and Prime Minister was always prepared to speak on the subject. He never ran away from
because numbers were always with you. That's why I said Baazigar moment. Now, whether that will necessarily work for the opposition or not, that is the subject matter of debate. Professor Bhatt, your opening comment.
Sanketji, the consequence of the no confidence motion and the subsequent voting is very clear to everyone, including the opposition. Now, the point here is that the opposition is actually not interested in addressing the issue of Manipur. Had it been, and if you see, this is what they have been doing for the last, 4 years, ever since Mr. Narendra Modi was re-elected in 2019. In 2020, they did not let the monsoon session run. That was on the pretext that there is something going wrong in the Delhi riots. In 2021, it was the Pegasus, because of which they did not allow the House to function in the monsoon session. Then again 2021, it was the 2022, it was the price rise, because of which they did not want the parliament to function. So time and again the motive here is, the point is that they are not doing parliamentary politics, they are rather doing confrontational politics. And as a subsequence to this, what is happening is crores of public money that goes into running of the parliament, that is getting wasted, and they are not interested in addressing the issue. Because the Prime Minister, right, when this unfortunate incidents that happened in Manipur came, into the notice, the Prime Minister has come out, he has criticized it, he has talked about it. The Home Minister is saying that we are ready to address all the questions, let us have discussion, on the floor. But they are not interested in going ahead and, having a discussion on it.
Okay. It's interesting that you say this, that they are not interested in a discussion, they only want disruption. One is reminded of the famous words of Mr. Arun Jaitley as well as Sushma Swaraj in Parliament.
Conveniently.
Conveniently? Conveniently?
Yes.
What conveniently?
Because it suits you today, that's why you're quoting the words of Arun Jaitley ji.
No, he said, either you can deny what he has said or not said. In 2010, the entire conversation was washed out.
Give me a second. I'll complete it now. Now allow me to complete.
Quickly.
It was after the Supreme Court orders, not otherwise. Here, there were Supreme Court orders, and Supreme Court has passed strictures on that. That was the reason that Parliament was disrupted. Not that they wanted, there was some issue on the floor of the House.
Okay, the 2010 winter session demanding a JPC in 2G, right? There are innumerable examples where the opposition considers it its right to disrupt Parliament. And we are going to come and debate this. You can present your viewpoint. I'll be more than happy to give you time. But Ms. Manisha Priyam, your opening comments.
So rather than calling it a Baazigar moment, I'd like to take the viewpoint of a gendered citizen, and I would say Manipur is beyond imagination for us. Manipur is that moment in India's political history that I want to say that Indian politics should no longer on any side look at these moments as the Draupadi moment. And I would say, do nyay agar to aadha do, usme bhi yadi ho baadha to, let all political parties come and speak together. And the point is that yes, the opposition has a right to ask for discussion, but the only issues are they should have heard the Home Minister rather than disrupting. They have a right to ask for the Prime Minister, they have a right to ask for a no confidence, they have a right to ask for what discussion they want. But it is also to be understood that the opposition on its side is trying to use this opportunity to launch the India. the number of times I have heard India, had I heard, the names of the unknown women warriors who have not even fallen to their death, they've been bludgeoned to their death. This is done in some kind of society of cave men or women. This is not who we are. I mean, we are saying here that we have a projection that will perhaps become India's first satellite which is launching itself on the moon. We are a power to be reckoned with. We are amongst the global committee of nations. What are women asking for? Just 5 villages, in Ramdhari Singh's words. If you can't give us justice, just give us those villages where the women lived. Don't burn them down. And can political parties combine together to hear this voice that women are just asking for a thatched hut where they can live with their children.
Correct.
Let politics be played out, but let the parliament represent the voice of that
And that's a
woman
very important
who
point that
doesn't
you
have dignity in death.
Okay. Mr. Ramachandran.
Well, it's very unfortunate as she has narrated. But the point is, are we really keen to take action immediately on these kind of aspects? I don't know why when it comes to this aspect, there is always a delay in moving in and sending our forces and taking the requisite action, which helps the women provide the requisite justice, if you like, or the dignity that they deserve. But I think in the overall context, it's very significant and important that the voice of women is heard and there is movement on it in the days ahead to come. And they should not be brushed aside once again as evidenced before.
Okay. Ms. Singh.
The opposition and the ruling party, it's high time that they should have come together and be able to at least debate on the issue. But the opposition sees this opportunity as an attempt to shield the Prime Minister from facing any kind of questions or criticism in the Parliament. And it is high time, I think, that the Prime Minister should come out and give a healing touch to Manipur and send a message to the victims that he is with them, he stands with them, and also send a strong message to the perpetrators of crime that they will be taken to task, whichever region they belong to, and there is a sense of rule of law that is established in Manipur. And what better place than Parliament to send across this message?
Okay. Mr. Sajjan Kumar.
Yeah, I mean, we have to see the context. It started with the judiciary verdict of awarding ST status to one of the community, and then the protest by the other communities, Kokis, etc. And we have seen similar circumstances in Rajasthan on the question of Meena versus Gujarat, etc. This is one. Now, the question is that this is a shocking visuals that we saw, and Northeast entirely is a ethnically very sensitive zone. But overall, if you see, there has been, it's undenying, there has been a mainstreaming of the Northeast, in the last 10 years. And that is why we are discussing it today, and we know the names, we know the places. So the question about the no confidence motion is, what is the issue? The issue is that Prime Minister has to speak on the issue within a considerable time span and duration. And that is something which is not a technical requirement, because Home Minister is the person who should speak on the issue. He is willing to speak, but yet this insistence. So I think it's more about the optics right now, wherein post Bharat Jodo Yatra and I.N.D.I.A India, now certainly it's almost a launching of multiple optics by the Congress-led opposition to keep the scenario warming for the coming Lok Sabha. And therefore I think rather than picking a singularity of event which is shocking, wherein there should be a consensus, and I don't think any party has said that they are not willing to take it seriously.
Okay. We have completed with the round of opening comments. Let me again ask you this question. Mr. Sajjan Kumar, do you feel that it is necessarily a bad idea to ask the Prime Minister to speak on an issue as crucial as Manipur?
No,
I mean, what is wrong if there is an appeal that the Prime Minister speak?
No, certainly it is not wrong, and it is a part of the democratic nature and polity that opposition is well within its right to demand the head of the government, the Prime Minister, to speak. The question is that the way it is being framed, overall we have to see what is the issue. Is it an isolated incident? Now, the question is about the police is not doing its work. Now, we have seen Northeast suffering since 1958 because of the security problem, because of the APSPA, There have been people who have been sitting on hunger strike. A generation has lost their prime time and lives. And until March 2023, there are positives also wherein you see the APSPA is being slowly withdrawn. More normalcy is being restored, but the context is so volatile and sensitive that you find these kind of ups and downs, ebbs and flows continuously happening. So rather than taking the entire context of ethnically sensitive Northeast into cognizance, picking it out and making it a BJP and Narendra Modi Prime Minister versus the opposition is slightly immature and unfortunate. There
Okay,
should be more
Mr.
maturity.
Sapra, how would you respond to that? And we'll get Mr. R.P. Singh also to
I
comment.
disagree with him that opposition is immature. Why the opposition should not react, tell me. Now, when there is a grave situation, when the Home Minister is going over there, he's there for 4 days and he doesn't come to know about this grave incident which has happened. The Chief Minister is saying there are hundreds of such incidents of women being paraded naked. Now, somebody has to take cognizance. When the Home Minister is there for 4 days, he is not taking cognizance or he is not knowing about it. Somebody is hiding from him. When the Chief Minister has failed miserably, not only the opposition leader, the BJP leaders are talking about it. Why they are not taking action on the Chief Minister? Why he's not been sacked when you can sack Chief Ministers in Uttarakhand and elsewhere? They changed in 6 months they changed 3 Chief Ministers. Why they don't want to take action over here? So somewhere there is a fault. Somewhere there is a fault which the opposition is rightly pointing out. We want a discussion why the Prime Minister should not answer. There is a trust deficit as far as Amit Shah is concerned, as far as the Home Minister is concerned, because he has been there. He just turned a blind eye towards everything, or he was not aware of anything what has happened over there.
Let's get in a comment from the BJP. Mr. R.P. Singh, let me ask you also this question. What is the harm if the Prime Minister speaks on Manipur, or if he is asked to speak or comment on Manipur?
When last session Prime Minister was speaking, what was happening in the Parliament? Were they hearing the Prime Minister or the chanting slogans? The street politics come to the Parliament. There's difference between Jantar Mantar and the Parliament. They have to understand this, and then that's the problem. And again, Prime Minister never refused that he will not speak in the Parliament. Where is this? Only thing is, Amit Shah ji said that please let's start discussion, and he has sent a written letter to both the leaders of the Mallikarjun Kharge ji and Azir Ranjan ji. But they don't want to. Here, the Home Minister and Home Minister is in charge of the law and order, and it's not that things are not being taken care. I mean, if you please ask your research team to check on this. Today, almost 86% of the schools have opened and are in normalcy system. Almost 70% government staff is functioning in normal way now. So it's not that it's happening on its own. I mean, the State Home Minister was there for many days.
Mr. R.P. Singh, this is also a reality that only a few days ago, when the NDTV team spent a night in a village, you could clearly hear in the camera gunshots from both sides, women sleeping on the streets, hiding, ducking. And then in the morning you saw people, there have been deaths that are being reported even now. So the situation is far from normal, and you will have to admit that as well.
Well, I just quoted you that it's much better than what it was a few days back, but it's not that it's happening for the first time. In 2011, there was a ban for 139 days. There was a complete shutdown of Manipur, and then there was a total clampdown by the people itself. That we have seen that situation also, and there were riots also, there were fighting also, there were gunfires also being shot that time. Did anyone ask for Abubakar Singh's resignation? And as I told you, I remember Rajesh Polity.
No, since it happened earlier, it has to continue now. Do you want to say that? Since there was arson or riots earlier, so even the BJP regime should continue. You said we'll give a government with a difference.
Okay,
this is not a government with a difference.
Thank you, Mr. Sapra. I thought we are in a decent debate. We don't.
No. I'm asking you a decent question.
Let's listen to his reply. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Singh.
We'll start with the new way now. Next round will be a different way now. But because if you want debate to happen that way, then it will happen that way. But issue is, are things better than what were there some 80 days back? And you're talking about, I 100% said that what happened in Manipur was wrong. The way the complete incident of 4th May happened was wrong. But what happened in Bengal? Much worse than that. 2 women were stripped openly in the bazaar, and they were made to walk. This happened in Bengal. one of the women was stripped in Rajasthan, and then she was raped, one of the tribal women, and then was left in the village there. Another 2-month-old child was raped in Punjab. No one talks about Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, what's happening in those states. But yes, because you have to build up brownie points, and as one of your panelists said, that because if they are trying to relaunch the Rahul Gandhi and the so-called anchor name, and then they are using this as a platform, which is very sad.
Well, let me quickly get a sense.
This is an issue where all political parties should come together and try to put some balm on the...
Okay, Ms. Manisha Priyam, do you think that this is an attempt being made by the I.N.D.I.A or India Alliance to use the Manipur incident as a political launch pad?
So I'm telling you, every time you'll ask me a question, I will begin with the woman whose head has been bludgeoned. That's who I am right now. And I can tell you, whenever I ask on behalf of, bludgeoning, death by bludgeoning a head, means you fear the grey matter of the woman inside. You want to kill her in such a manner that she cannot ever dream of life. This is the woman who gives you life. Every time you call me miss, I'm actually a doctor. That's fine. And any woman, you can talk about Bengal, you can talk about Rajasthan. I can tell you, we are barely clad in very good clothes, and we are delighted that India has given us this platform. We can tell you n number of incidents where the hand was caught, or etc., etc. I don't want to take that show to that level. But ask us how much pain we hide to be able to have a political discussion. Now, if you have a political discussion with us amongst equals, poise the Manipur moment. And nobody is no political leader is superior to that. No political agenda is superior to that. I can bring out many from this side and from that. And the fact is, celebrations must stop. Everybody must wear black. Why just the India Alliance? It's just so bad. And if there are fights, which there are, it is quite clear the country is headed towards a general election. Why do we want to forget the fact when situation may be better? But are you aware that traumas of this kind take healing of over half a century?
Correct.
I mean, there are, when I meet, for example, Kashmiri Pandit families, and I hear of what they've been to. When I meet families that have suffered the emergency, I know what they have been through. When I similarly meet my friends from the Northeast, they are not interested in telling me this one's wrong and that one's right. They are interested in telling me the tragedy is much greater than what you are hearing on the media. So there is a voice that's wanting to talk about the tragedy. Can there be a bipartisan way of talking about tragedy? The shrill voices of politics, unfortunately, do not form a coffin. तो थोड़ा तो दे दो, ढक जाए, शरीर ढक जाए, उसके बाद आपको जितना रौंद लो उतना रौंद लो. Fact is, sometimes politics does not find a solution of its own. You have to stop, pay the obeisance, and then you move ahead. Now, what's been done for that? And I think there is a lack on both sides. And that's why I'm not hesitating to point out that the other side is also launching India. But the fact is that has the ruling party stopped and said, okay, let's have a discussion. I'm sure it is the job of the government to redress. If they are brought normalcy, very good. But this is not a matter of congratulating the government and saying, great you. No, it's a matter of saying, fine, who restores order? Why did we give powers of our being citizens unto the state only to give us civil peace and order so that somebody could sing, somebody could write, somebody could print the newspaper, and somebody could be the politician? The politician is not above the formation of the state and politics, and certainly gendered violation is something that should put the nation to a stop. Remember, we opposed the Congress government and a much beloved chief minister of the state called Mrs. Sheila Dikshit, and we did not, we did not hesitate in doing this. So do not blame us of being partisan when we are only asking for our dignity.
Correct. And Vijeta Singh, you feel that sort of political effort, that sincerity politically for Manipur cannot be seen right now?
I would not say that. There are serious attempts being made to bring the situation under control, but it is not a simple law and order situation. More than 4,000 weapons have been looted or given away from police armories, and these weapons are being used by civilians to attack each other. And a little over 1,600 weapons have been returned. This is what the Chief Minister told us in an interview last week. So where is the urgency to bring, semblance of law and order on the ground? Yesterday in an affidavit, Union Home Secretary Mr. Ajay Kumar Bhalla to the Supreme Court, he said that justice should be seen to be done in this case where the women were stripped and paraded. And so rightly so, because there is a lot of distrust among the community in regard to the deployment of forces also there. So one community does not trust the central forces, the other community does not trust the police. So how will the administration bridge this gap? And I know for sure that back channel talks are being held, there are attempts being made, but the gravity with which it should happen more, and it should be forcefully implemented for normalcy to return in the state.
And that's precisely the responsibility of the state. And by
Yes.
state, I mean government.
Yeah, despite an appeal made by the Union Home Minister when he went to Manipur, the weapons have not been returned.
Yeah, Mr. Ramachandran, on that point on weapons, you see, 10 years ago, in fact, exactly 10 years ago, NDTV did a whole documentary on this route that illegal weapons take with which they enter Manipur, right? They come from Dimapur, Nagaland, and it comes from
Myanmar
across
also,
Myanmar,
large number.
Chinese weapons to Myanmar and then into the country. This was 10 years ago. And the latest arrest which has been made of a police official from Nagaland suggests that he too was helping smuggle these illegal weapons into Manipur. So nothing has changed.
I think it's very difficult to change what is happening in these parts of the country. For one, there is no strict observance of what is really happening down on the ground. And I think the information setup that provides certain information to the government is also lacking in very many of the northeastern states. There are basic reasons for it. I have visited this part of the country several times, and I do understand the situation on the ground, which is anything but easy. But I think there is a massive change in the thinking of the people of the Northeast. They are willing to go as far as they can in trying to help out the administration and the police in whatever they want to do in prevailing law and order. But is the other side willing to join hands with them and do the needful? That is also a point which needs to be considered. Because in very many aspects over the last decade, please understand that many of these organizations did not want to take the unlawful course, taking to weapons, fighting the administration, the police forces. But on the odd occasion, this has happened, and there have been lives lost on both sides. So I think we need to really sit down. Let's not forget that the Northeast has been neglected for years and years on end. And for the last 10 years, if you've done something for what the people wanted, you have not achieved everything. There's still a lot to be done. And I think the focus should really be on taking the people and the leaders there together in getting the job done, rather than sitting here and complaining about what they are doing, which is unlawful or whatever it is.
So do you feel, Professor Bhatt, that this is some sort of a political failing on both sides, that they've not been able to come together? In fact, the relationship appears more confrontational over Manipur rather than something that should be more solution seeking.
Yes, so definitely, there is no reckoning on this issue. We can see that very clearly in the parliament, and even outside, we do realize this is an ethnic, it is an ethnic conflict. Now, the issue which has been, what happened on 4th of May, for example, is something despicable. I mean, no amount of words, they can heal what these, two women had gone through. But at the same time, one needs to ask question to the, opposition, that is it that the, honor and respect of the women who have been blunted in the similar way in Rajasthan or in, in West Bengal, is their respect and honor any less than those of what happened in Manipur? Why is it? See, you need to collectively raise the issue and address the issue. across party line and across, such, just looking at your own, small political benefits and trying to be on one upmanship, trying to be, outside the parliament, raising slogans and actually not addressing this issue. This is, just see 2021 West Bengal elections, a 60-year-old woman was gang raped brutally in front of her grandson in West Bengal. Did we see any one of the, opposition leaders ever raising that issue? So this is what, then it raises a question that whether the opposition leaders, when they are raising this issue, are they really serious about it? Do they really have a concern that this needs to be addressed?
Can I?
Yeah, your response.
See, number one, I would not like to endorse anything what happened in Rajasthan, West Bengal or Chhattisgarh or whatever the people are saying. But that doesn't mean that you have to play rape versus rape, my rape versus your rape. It cannot be that way. The
That's
situation.
Sir, this is very
listen.
the way you are addressing
No. The way you put it, I'm trying to answer that. It should not be like that. Yes, the situation, what happened in Rajasthan was also wrong, grave, and what has happened in Manipur is more grave. It has been 86 days, madam. 86 days there is riots, arson, and whatnot going on over there. The chief minister is at fault. Nobody is ready to discuss. Nobody is ready to take action on that. The home minister has gone there. Nothing has happened. BJP, when opposition is asking, it is within the parliamentary setup that we are asking discussion under 267 or 194. Why they are not allowing that? Why they want to go in for short discussion? Why not this one? So there are so many things which show that somewhere the BJP or the Prime Minister wants to dodge the discussion on Manipur. Yes, now you have a chance. There's a no confidence motion. You can talk on every subject. We can talk on every subject. You can also touch what happened in Rajasthan, West Bengal and all. But don't try to deflect and divert. Don't try to deflect and divert.
Okay. For one moment, what you say, if one agrees to that, why is it that, they could not ask questions to their own chief minister when it comes to their, where they have a government, where the government is there? No, you're not.
No.
Let me finish, then you can answer. Why? You cannot raise the questions. You don't go on a dharna in front of your own chief minister when women are being, 18-year-old Dalit woman brutally gang raped and dumped into a well. Just see the video how her body is being pulled up out of that well. No one is addressing that. There you cannot do that. But on the other side, you are trying to put up a question as if that nothing is being done. The Home Minister has written a letter where he clearly says that I am ready to answer every question. And the Congress President, in lieu of that, is saying, no, first the Prime Minister has to speak, then only we are going to come and raise the questions.
See, for your kind information, let me answer. For your kind information, Rajasthan incident, action was taken within 24 hours. People were arrested. Whatever incident. You show me. You show me one. Let me answer. You show me one incident where Rajasthan government has not taken action, where people have not been arrested and where law has not taken its course. No. And they were ABP people. The people who are arrested, they are affiliated to ABP. They are affiliated to BJP. That is on record. Not a single case in Rajasthan where people have not been arrested.
Great justice to the people of Manipur with a debate like this. One by one, please.
One by one. I have the right to answer.
Are you blindfolded for answer?
I have the right to answer.
No, I'm shocked.
One by one.
I'm shocked that you are attitude, sir.
When the Home Minister is turning a blind eye, the Prime Minister is turning a blind eye.
Woman in Rajasthan is not a woman.
Of course they are.
A woman in West Bengal is not a woman.
No.
You are so blindfolded.
What I am saying, Rajasthan.
Come on, sir.
The rights.
You can at least
please allow me.
You are an anchor.
Nobody is being political. See, this is not between you and me.
This is a debate.
Rajasthan,
one by one.
Because you know.
Rajasthan is not a situation.
I think we are doing great service with a debate like this. Mr. R.P. Singh, one more. Mr. Sapra, one moment. First of all, the purpose of this discussion is to discuss whether the no confidence motion is going to politically benefit the opposition. That is the idea behind this discussion. That's
so
the
they are
point
trying
that
to
we were
deflect
discussing.
and divert.
So,
and I'm
okay,
answering.
I'm just bringing everyone's
please allow me
attention
to
back
answer.
to the point that we are
Please
discussing.
allow me to answer.
He
that
has
Rajasthan,
One by
He
one.
had his run now. Can I?
Rajasthan,
Yes, I'll
no,
come to
I
you.
have not
One more.
finished.
Quickly, please,
Rajasthan did not, is not facing riots since 86 days. The Rajasthan governor has not said what the Manipur governor has said. So Rajasthan, we are not endorsing.
Rajasthan
the people
minister
were
is on
arrested
record
within 24
in
hours.
the assembly.
And they were ABP
The Rajasthan
leaders.
minister stood up and
ABP
said,
leaders were
Rajasthan
arrested for
minister
that.
stood up and said
What
that
you're talking.
we are a riot.
So please don't do
we
this.
are a rape capital.
Don't
Okay,
do
one more.
this.
He said
don't
we are
do
a rape
injustice
capital.
with the people of
It's
Manipur
not
or
being done,
Northeast.
sir. You are
And
doing,
Manipur
you're
is
doing,
not
are you
only,
doing justice
not
with
only
people of
one.
Rajasthan?
I'm going to have to come in here.
Manipur is a grave situation.
Mr. Sapra,
concerning the entire
Mr. Sapra, one
Northeast.
moment.
It
Mr.
is
Sapra
flaring
and
up
Mr.
in
RP
Mizoram
Singh.
also. It is flaring up in
understand.
Assam also.
I'll have to come in here, please.
It is flaring up in Mizoram,
I'm
Assam.
repeating the topic of discussion one more time. Mr. Sapra, one more. You've had your say. You've spoken. Mr. RP Singh, I'm repeating the topic of discussion one more time. Do you feel that the opposition, they claim that they failed to get the Prime Minister to comment in Parliament on a crucial issue of Manipur? And that is why this is a win for them if they get the Prime Minister to speak on the no trust vote.
Sir,
this is my topic of discussion. Would you care to answer?
No, I never diverted from the topic of discussion.
Yeah.
You allowed other people to divert from the topic of discussion. So let me show you this split of day before yesterday.
We can't see anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a second. Here it is. Day before yesterday in the Rouse Avenue court, one of my sisters was raped by 27 men. We fought for 39 years. Whole of the family was roasted in front of her. We had to fight for 39 years for just get the FIR or the charge sheet cognizance being taken by the court. If that's the state of the affair, and under whose regime? It's Congress regime. It's the, हमारे हिंदी में कहते हैं पूरने लगा दिए उन्होंने. And that's how the things have taken shape in the country. So I'm saying
cherry picking can be done.
One by one, please.
No.
Well,
this
is how.
I can also fish out from Google. Cherry picking
This
can
is not
be done.
Google, sir. This is.
No.
I have been fighting their case. It's not Google. You never stood by. You never stood by six. You never stood by the woman who was there for 27 men, sir. I've been.
I'm appreciating you fought.
Sir, please don't do that.
But don't divert again.
You have been
don't divert again.
No. You have been shielding Titler. You have been shielding Jagdish Titler. Your party has been shielding Jagdish Titler.
You be on the no confidence motion. You be on the grave situation of Manipur.
I'm going
to the root of the
grave
situation.
BJP
is the discussion on the discussion on the no trust vote.
When I speak,
you want me to.
Mr. Sapra, one moment. See, we can't have a discussion like this.
I never interrupted.
If they wish to divert and deflect, then I need to interject.
Sir, the minister in the house, the minister in the assembly, of Rajasthan. Let's talk about a week back. Minister in the assembly of the Rajasthan stood and said that,
BJP.
Sir, minister
you answer that. Have you taken action against
No,
them?
there is.
I give a challenge.
Not give me a second.
Has BJP removed them from party?
I give a challenge.
No, you tell me.
I have to.
What action the Rajasthan
you can't run away. You can't allow me to run away.
No, I am not allowing anyone to run away. I want to diffuse this situation because.
I'm giving a challenge.
No, this discussion is not going to work out like this. No,
sir, give me a second.
I have to come in here. Mr. Sapra, please one moment. A discussion cannot happen like this. This is going to be a very bad way of doing a discussion. Mr. RP Singh,
not fair.
Please conclude.
Not fair. If there is even a single person from Vidyarthi Parishad, I'll quit from the active social life. If there's single.
From where?
He's just now said, now accused that there are people from Vidyarthi Parishad.
ABVP.
Please,
without any proof.
This is not decent.
It's not
he's
without
using
any
your
proof.
channel.
You go to the records.
Sir, please, I
Go
give you
to
a
the
challenge,
records
Mr.
and
Sapra.
see.
I give you a
Go to the
challenge.
records
But
and
let's
see.
not talk about that. The issue
Go to
is, the
two
minister,
ABVP
why did the
got
minister,
arrested in
he
that
won't
rape
hear
case.
this.
Mr. Sapra, this is not done. Please. I
No,
request
you
you to
run the
please.
debate, sir.
I
told him.
We have to be decent about this.
I told him they are ABVP people.
One more. We have to
he wants to deny, he can deny.
No. Mr.
I like
RP
to
Singh,
deny, then he can.
Mr. Sapra, please. This is not done. Please, let's have a decent discussion. I'll come to you. You will get your right to reply. Let him at least finish.
No, let him finish.
Yes, Mr. Singh.
Sir, give me a second. Let me put. You can edit it later on. Fact is, the minister in the assembly said that this is rape capital of the country. The women in Rajasthan are being used like instrument. And but the minister, other minister said, "हम ये मर्दों का शहर है, ये मर्दों का राजस्थान."
Can I want to answer now?
So, no, this is not
No, no,
fair
no.
at all.
One moment.
If he wants to,
No,
go
one
into
moment,
that,
I'll come to you, Mrs. Sapra.
No, no,
Please let him at least
let me
conclude.
complete here only. 10 seconds. What happened in Hathras?
No.
No. What happened in Unnao,
No,
Kathua?
this is
what happened?
really
why
unfortunate.
wants to go now?
No, this is really
what about
unfortunate.
Brij Bhushan? What about Brij Bhushan?
Mr. Singh.
What about Brij Bhushan Sharan?
Every time,
every
Mrs.
time,
Sapra, this is not
every
gonna work
time
out like
BJP
this.
stands
I'll have
with the
I'll have to
Balakaris.
make sure. Mrs. Sapra,
Every
we
time,
cannot go on
every
like
time
this.
BJP leaders
We cannot
stand
go on
with the
like this.
Balakaris, the rapists.
Wait now, please have a seat,
Who was
Mr. Singh.
Kuldeep Sengar?
I'm not. I won't be able to give you a right to reply, Mr. Sapra. You will have to let him finish. Let me come to you till such time that you guys settle down. I'll have to move to Mr. Sajjan Kumar. Mr. Kumar, the subject matter once again. In this battle of narrative, do you think that the India alliance stands to benefit, at least they want to benefit, with a no trust vote?
Yeah, I mean, you have, the answer is at two levels. If you see kind of at the level of the political leaders who are in opposition, yes, they will get a motivation. Their workers and activists will get a motivation that yes, they have scored a point wherein they literally forced the ruling party to act the way they wanted to act. But will it have a resonance on the ground? The answer is no. You know, you have seen during the course of Hathras, you know, many noises were there, but if you go among the Valmikis, they clearly differentiated that this is a societal problem. Please do not link it with the ruling party problem. You know, the rapes, Dalit atrocities, ethnic tensions, these are the problems. We wish there would have been a simple solution.
Whether it is Hathras, one more, Mr. Sapra, please. As far as this incident in Manipur is concerned, where a video surfaced after 77 days, the state government, the state's own chief minister, in a statement said, I have taken cognizance of this video. You see, arrests started taking place only after the video came out in the public domain. A video like this must never be publicized or shared. I mean, this is the identity of that woman.
No,
right? That cannot be done. It's a crime.
Let's go into the structural.
But my point is, action only followed once the video came.
Yeah, it is
Whereas
true.
the first FIR happened 2 months ago, the second, the regular FIR happened a month ago.
Yeah, but
and no action was taken. And by the way, Mr. Biren Singh is also the Home Minister of the state.
Yes. Let me go into the structural analysis. The body of the woman was not as a gendered, it was an ethnic body, you know, and this has been the trend, be it about the Dalit, be it about the tribal, be it about any war.
I don't understand what you've said.
Which means that...
No, one more. Mr. Sapra, one more.
Please, let
How
me
can you say
complete.
that?
You cannot decide.
A woman's body is ethnic.
Let me complete.
Mr. Sapra,
What is he talking?
one more.
Let me complete.
One more, please.
He cannot listen. He cannot.
I'm asking
He
him this
cannot
question.
let
I'm
go like
asking him
this.
this question,
Listen
Mr. Sapra, please. One moment. Nobody hijacks
Now
this.
let me
Yeah.
explain. Let me explain. I said that Northeast has been a state wherein ethnic violence has seen that the women from particularly vulnerable communities have been targeted. You know, so the body of the woman is targeted to exact the ethnic revenge. You know.
I don't know what that means.
No.
If the state
I'm not
wants this-
justifying.
No,
Who is saying I'm
One more,
justifying?
Manisha Prem.
If you cannot
Manisha
say
Prem,
tomorrow,
Manisha
let me
Prem,
say
how do you view this?
tomorrow,
One
Dalit
moment.
woman
Let me
is
get into
raped.
response.
What do you say?
One moment,
It is-
Manisha
it is-
Prem.
Tomorrow OBC woman is
No,
raped.
yes,
I am
yes,
so
you are not
glad.
getting
Do like
it is,
this.
I am
it is
so
through the-
glad
it is through the-
that the men of my country are protecting me. They are seeing my body as ethnic. They are telling me about rape versus rape. I am only asking for my dignity and my gendered equality, that my constitution, our constitution, that we all rise up to uphold. Remember, every time I rise up to sing the national anthem, I remember I was the first one. Sanket used to be there also. When if a national anthem was played, even when I was in the studio, I would sing it. It's my freedom. It blows above my head. Thank you. So many august gathering of men are dissecting me as to which class, etc. I almost became casteless because this is my country. And in my country, we need to live fearlessly. And let me give you the apolitical statement. Those many number of weapons, remember, I'm one of those who's run away from my home state at the tender age of 15 because there was violence. That violence was electoral. There were gun manufacturing units all over the villages we lived in. The best that our parents thought was to put us on a train and send us to hostels to study, right? The fact is that violence targets women first. This one or that one, women are the first targets of violence. Easy. It's a country that's progressed much beyond that. How many days did it take to collect so many guns based on which this ethnic community fought that? What was the Chief Minister and Honorable Home Minister doing before the making of the violence? Remember, any violence is made. It's not the 1857 moment जबकि कोई बताता है कि इसमें किस तरह का यूज हुआ, कौन सा, और वो हमने मंगल पांडे ने समझा और उस पर चिंगारी उठ गई और चपातियां बंटने लगी. यहाँ तो शस्त्रों का पूरा विस्तार से प्रदान हुआ, इस एथनिक कम्युनिटी के पास भी, उस एथनिक कम्युनिटी के पास भी. जो चीफ मिनिस्टर थे वो क्या एक एथनिक कम्युनिटी के चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं या राज्य के चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं? मैंने कल भी एक शो में बोला है कि मैं सुन के जार जार रोती हूं. मैंने तो जब मतदान किया, व्हेन आई वोटेड, मी द जेंडर्ड वुमन, आई ओनली सॉ कमल छाप और हाथ छाप और हाथी छाप. उसमें तो लिखा नहीं था कि ये बनेगा तो ये जाटों की मुख्यमंत्री हैं या ये यादवों के. आई वोटेड फॉर my state, my country, right? My political leaders. And I want to understand today that unless civil peace is restored in an amicable way, and if 356 exists, either when the parliament meets, you should, if you can't agree on issues, abolish 356. Let it not remain there only. Or if it is there, then apply it. Ask the chief minister, who is now, he is the biggest ethnic body. Why talk about women having ethnic bodies? I am not blaming him. He is showing his true colors. He can belong to any political party. He has shown that he belonged to one political party. He now belongs to another political party. I trust still my constitution and I seek that my political parties and my parliament come to restore my faith in the Indian constitution to allow me to live a life of dignity, the liberté, égalité and freedom for which my ancestors gave their lives and taught us to wear the khadi and live with confidence under my own flag. That's all I have to say. And don't protect me any longer. I've been horrified to hear this discussion saying so many rapes here, so many. It's horrible to hear that word for us as women. Please stop it. On this show, stop that word anymore.
I absolutely agree with you.
Stop that.
100%.
Yes,
Vijeta Singh.
I agree with her. This whataboutery should stop. I mean, this incident, it's beyond. I mean, when I was filing the story, my hands were trembling. It was that bad. So maybe I feel more connected to the story because of my gender or whatever. But to begin with, the state government or the center, they should collate all the cases of the sexual violence that has taken place in Manipur. Set up an SIT, set up a specialized team of officers, including led by women officers, and they should, bring these cases to a conclusion, and they should go to fast-track courts and get conviction, so that there is some faith in the legal system. And the center has admitted in an affidavit yesterday that they want the trial to be shifted out of Manipur. I think it says a lot about the situation there. When the center is not, center also agrees that these women will not get justice in Manipur.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think the way the two of you have summed this up, it's incredibly hard for me to even ask for. I mean, let's just hope, at least from the political fraternity, that when a discussion happens during the vote of no confidence, some of these points that have been made by Manisha Priyam, by Vijeta Singh, this is factored in by Professor Geeta Bhatt. Let's just hope that happens. Would you or would you not agree, Mr. Ramachandran?
Well, I think I certainly
because
agree.
Because the quality of the discussion around these incidents.
Listen, I agree wholeheartedly with my two colleagues here. At the end of the day, what you need to say is what really comes up on the floor of the House and Parliament. These issues have been raised umpteen number of times. The ministers have responded to it. But the effect is it has not percolated down to the ordinary people. That is where you need to focus your attention. The point is we have not done it for all these years since independence, and I hope we wake up to it that something is done positively in this regard.
Okay, I've run out of time. Thank you very much. Let's just hope the no confidence motion, rather than being about either political whataboutery or political point scoring, actually gives us a meaningful discussion, and more than discussion, some meaningful action on the ground. Good night and goodbye.